1. We've got a real classic on our hands. A 1977 Chevrolet Caprice that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $4,000. Now, I've got to be straight with you. This beauty isn't in perfect condition, but it's still got a lot of potential. First off, let's talk about the positives. The seller mentions that the Caprice has a fresh coat of paint, which is always a plus. The heat and AC are working, and the seller says that everything else is in good working order too. The odometer shows just 42,000 miles, which is pretty low for a car of this age. However, there are a few issues to keep in mind. The front grille is missing, and the driver's side corner marker light needs to be replaced. The car also had an aftermarket stereo installed at some point. But here's the kicker: the transmission is shot. The seller says that the car will drive forward, but it won't go into reverse. So you'll need to factor in the cost of a new transmission if you're thinking about taking on this project. Despite these issues, the seller is upfront about the condition of the car. They've got a clean Nebraska title, and they're not looking for any trades. If you're willing to put in some work and get this classic back on the road, it could be a really fun project. Just keep in mind that you'll need to have the car towed away since it's not drivable in its current condition. But if you're up for the challenge, this 1977 Chevrolet Caprice could be a great addition to your collection. 2. We've got a real gem on our hands. A 1964 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu that's up for sale on Craigslist for $12,500. And let me tell you, this beauty is in fantastic condition. The seller has done an amazing job restoring this classic to 99% of its original glory. Under the hood, you'll find a 283 Turbofire V8 engine that purrs like a kitten. The automatic transmission with column shift is smooth as butter, and the factory air blows cold. Perfect for those hot summer days. Inside, the car has been completely redone with a new red interior, including the headliner. It looks absolutely stunning and is sure to turn heads wherever you go. The seller has also installed a new battery, power steering, and a front disc brake kit for added safety and convenience. The exterior of the car is just as impressive as the interior. The white paint job is in excellent condition, and the new spoke chrome rims with new tires give the car a classic yet modern look. The dual exhaust with chrome tips is the cherry on top, adding just the right amount of attitude to this already cool ride. The seller mentions that the car starts up on the first try every time and is ready to drive anywhere. With only 3,185 miles on the odometer, this Chevelle Malibu has plenty of life left in it. Now, the price tag of $12,500 might seem a bit steep, but considering the amount of work and love that's gone into this restoration, it's actually a pretty fair price. The seller is semi-firm on the price but is open to considering all offers or trades. If you're in the market for a classic car that's been restored to near perfection, this 1964 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu is definitely worth checking out. Give Bob a call at the number provided and schedule a time to see this beauty in person. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. 3. We've got a real beauty on our hands. A 1977 Ford LTD that's up for sale on Craigslist for $15,000. This classic coupe is in excellent condition and has been well maintained by its previous owners. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 351 Windsor engine that's been upgraded and modified to perfection. The seller doesn't specify exactly what modifications have been made, but you can bet that this car has some serious power behind it. The exterior of the car is just as impressive as the engine. The blue paint job is clean and shiny, and the Craigslist wheels with brand new tires give the car a classic yet sporty look. You'll definitely turn heads wherever you go in this beauty. Inside, the car is just as clean as the outside. With only 21,565 miles on the odometer, this LTD has been barely broken in. The seller mentions that they are the third owner of the car, which is a good sign that it's been well cared for over the years. Now let's talk about the price. $15,000 might seem like a lot for a classic car, but considering the upgrades and modifications that have been made, as well as the excellent condition of the car, it's actually a pretty fair price. Plus, the seller is open to any offers, so there may be some room for negotiation. One thing to keep in mind is that the seller doesn't mention anything about the interior of the car. While the exterior and engine are in excellent condition, it's always a good idea to check out the interior as well before making a purchase. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic coupe that's been well maintained and upgraded, this 1977 Ford LTD is definitely worth checking out. With its powerful engine, clean paint job, and low mileage, this car is sure to provide plenty of fun and excitement for years to come. Don't miss out on the opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 4. We've got a real gem on our hands. A 1968 Mercury Cougar that's up for sale on Craigslist for $14,900. This classic coupe has been owned by a lifelong Ford dealer mechanic and has been kept in impeccable condition in their garage. First off, let's talk about the exterior. The seller mentions that the car is incredibly straight and has hardly any rust, which is a huge plus for a car of this age. The only rust they found was a little bit on the inside of the trunk lid. The primer black look is definitely a head-turner, but the seller also mentions that it's ready for your own paint color if you prefer. Under the hood, you'll find a customized original V8 engine that's been paired with a slapstick 6-speed automatic transmission. While not factory, this combination is sure to provide plenty of power and excitement on the road. The seller has also installed all new suspension, which is adjustable, as well as new wheels and tires, and an interstate battery. Inside, the car is in great shape as well. However, there are a few things that need to be addressed. The heater core was leaking, so the seller bypassed and removed it. You'll need to replace it if you want heat in the car. The turn signals kind of work, but may need new points or a digital system. The vacuum headlights work, but one sticks on the way down. There's also a tear in the back seat, and the back passenger window knob and driver's handle need to be replaced. Despite these minor issues, the seller emphasizes that the car runs and drives great. The odometer has rolled over, but with only 13,219 miles shown, this car has plenty of life left in it. Now let's talk about the price. $14,900 might seem like a lot for a car that needs a few repairs, but considering the overall condition of the car and the fact that it's been owned by a mechanic, it's actually a pretty fair price. Plus, the seller mentions that they need cash and are busy, so they may be open to negotiation for serious inquiries. One thing to note is that the seller is not interested in trades, although they might consider a really nice RV or travel trailer. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Mercury Cougar that's been well maintained and has plenty of potential, this car is definitely worth checking out. With its customized engine, new suspension, and overall great condition, this car is sure to provide plenty of fun and excitement for years to come. Don't miss out on the opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 5. We've got a real beauty on our hands, a 1965 Ford Thunderbird convertible that's up for sale on Craigslist for $14,500. This classic car has undergone an older restoration and is said to drive like a new car. First off, let's talk about the restoration. The seller mentions that the engine, transmission, suspension, tires, body, paint, and top hydraulics were all redone back in 2015. That's a pretty comprehensive restoration, and it shows in the car's overall condition. The seller even has lots of receipts to back up the work that's been done. The color of this Thunderbird is a rare dark teal with a white interior and white convertible top. It's a stunning combination that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. The paint has a clear coat finish, which helps to protect it and keep it looking shiny and new. Now, there are a couple of issues to note. The convertible top is torn and needs a new flipper panel gear and adjustment for proper operation. However, the seller mentions that the top hydraulics have been redone, so it shouldn't be too difficult to get the top working properly again. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful V8 engine that's paired with an automatic transmission. The seller mentions that the car will drive anywhere in style, and with the new shocks that have been installed, it should be a smooth and comfortable ride. The car has a clean title and current registration, which is always a plus when buying a classic car. And with no rust and a solid body, this Thunderbird is sure to last for many more years to come. Now, let's talk about the price. $14,500 might seem like a lot for a car that needs a little work, but considering the overall condition of the car and the comprehensive restoration that's been done, it's actually a pretty fair price. The seller is firm on the price, but they do mention that they're open to trading for a Banana Bird convertible, which is a nickname for the 1955-1957 Thunderbirds. One thing to note is that the seller offers worldwide shipping, which is great if you're not local to the area. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Thunderbird convertible that's been well maintained and restored, this car is definitely worth checking out. With its rare color combination, powerful V8 engine, and solid body, this car is sure to provide plenty of fun and excitement for years to come. Don't miss out on the opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 6. We've got a real blast from the past on our hands. A 1984 Mercury Grand Marquis that's up for sale on Craigslist for just $5,000. This full-size sedan has been well maintained by its original owner and has only 116,000 miles on the odometer. First off, let's talk about the condition of this car. The seller mentions that it's never been in a collision, has no rust, and has never needed any major engine or transmission work, except for a head gasket replacement. That's pretty impressive for a car that's almost 40 years old. The original French vanilla paint is still in good condition, and the car has always been garaged. Under the hood, you'll find a 302 V8 engine. That's a 5.0 liter for those who prefer metric. The seller mentions that the car runs and starts well, which is always a good sign. Now there are a few things that need to be addressed. The headliner needs to be re-glued, and the C-pillar fabric needs to be replaced. The right front bumper filler panel is missing, and the front windshield is cracked. The right front fender rubber plastic molding strip is also missing, and the tailpipe needs to be replaced. There's also a slight crease in the left rear fender, but the seller has provided a close-up photo so you can see the extent of the damage. Despite these issues, the seller emphasizes that very few of these 1980s Mercurys have survived in such good condition. And with a clean title, you can be sure that there are no hidden surprises. Now, let's talk about the price. $5,000 might seem like a lot for a car that needs a little work, but considering the overall condition of the car and its rarity, it's actually a pretty fair price. Plus, the seller mentions that this car is an estate item, so it's likely that they're motivated to sell. One thing to keep in mind is that the seller doesn't mention anything about the interior of the car. While the exterior is in good condition, it's always a good idea to check out the interior as well before making a purchase. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Mercury Grand Marquis that's been well maintained and has plenty of potential, this car is definitely worth checking out. With its powerful V8 engine, original paint, and low mileage, this car is sure to provide plenty of fun and nostalgia for years to come. Don't miss out on the opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. 7. We've got a real head-turner on our hands. A 1984 Cadillac Eldorado convertible that's up for sale on Craigslist for $14,500. This classic luxury car is in excellent condition and is sure to turn heads wherever you go. First off, let's talk about the exterior. The seller mentions that this Eldorado is a West Coast car that's never seen rain or snow, which is a huge plus for a classic car. The red paint is described as very sharp and clean, and it's easy to see why. This car is a real beauty and is sure to stand out in any crowd. Under the hood, you'll find a 4.1-liter motor that's paired with an automatic transmission. The seller doesn't provide any details about the engine's performance, but given the car's excellent condition, it's safe to assume that it runs smoothly and efficiently. Inside, the car is just as impressive as the outside. The seller mentions that everything works as it should, which is always a good sign for a classic car. You'll be able to ride in style and comfort, with all the luxury features that Cadillac is known for. Now let's talk about the mileage. With only 47,000 miles on the odometer, this Eldorado has been barely broken in. It's clear that the previous owner took great care of this car and didn't put too many miles on it over the years. The seller emphasizes that this car is a collector's showpiece and a real conversation starter. Everywhere they drive it, people can't help but admire its beauty and style. It's easy to see why. The Eldorado is a true classic and a symbol of American luxury. Now, let's talk about the price. $14,500 might seem like a lot for a classic car, but considering the excellent condition of this Eldorado and its low mileage, it's actually a pretty fair price. Plus, the seller mentions that it's a clean title, which is always a good sign. One thing to keep in mind is that the seller doesn't mention anything about the car's maintenance history or any recent repairs or upgrades. While the car is in excellent condition, it's always a good idea to ask about these things before making a purchase. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic Cadillac Eldorado convertible that's in excellent condition and has low mileage, this car is definitely worth checking out. With its sharp red paint, luxurious interior, and conversation-starting style, this car is sure to provide plenty of fun and excitement for years to come. Don't miss out on the opportunity to own a piece of American automotive history. 8. We've got a classic 1964 Chevrolet Impala Supersport coupe up for sale on Craigslist for $15,000 or best offer. This car is a true piece of American muscle car history, but it's important to note that it's not in perfect condition. The seller describes the car as being in fair shape, which suggests that it may have some wear and tear or minor issues. However, they do mention that the interior is original, which is a big plus for collectors and enthusiasts who value authenticity. Under the hood, you'll find a 327 engine with a 4-barrel carburetor, which is paired with a 2-speed automatic transmission. The seller notes that the car has manual brakes, which may take some getting used to for drivers who are accustomed to modern brake systems. One of the highlights of this Impala SS is the new tires and rims, which give it a fresh and updated look. The seller also mentions that they have extra parts available, which could be useful for anyone looking to restore or maintain the car in the future. Now, let's talk about the price. $15,000 is a significant amount of money for a car that's not in perfect condition. However, the seller is open to best offers, which suggests that there may be some room for negotiation. It's important to keep in mind that classic cars like this Impala SS can be expensive to maintain and restore, so it's crucial to have a realistic budget in mind. The seller doesn't provide any information about the car's mileage, which is a bit concerning. With only 30,000 miles on the odometer, this Impala SS has a lot of life left in it. But it's important to verify the accuracy of the mileage before making a purchase. Another thing to note is that the seller doesn't mention anything about the car's history or previous owners. It's always a good idea to ask for documentation and records to ensure that the car has been well maintained and hasn't been in any major accidents. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic 1964 Chevrolet Impala Supersport coupe and don't mind putting in some work to get it in top shape, this car could be a great investment. With its original interior, powerful 327 engine, and new tires and rims, this Impala SS has a lot of potential. Just be sure to do your due diligence and have a realistic budget in mind before making an offer. And as always, don't hesitate to ask the seller for more information or additional photos if needed. 9. We've got a classic 1976 Chevrolet Monte Carlo up for sale on Craigslist for $5,000. This car has a lot of potential, but it's important to note that it's not in perfect condition. First off, let's talk about the exterior. The seller mentions that the car has a beautiful custom paint job, which is definitely a plus. However, they also describe the overall condition of the car as fair, which suggests that there may be some imperfections or areas that need attention. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 8-cylinder engine that the seller says sounds great and doesn't smoke. This is a good sign, as it suggests that the engine has been well maintained and isn't in need of any major repairs. Moving on to the interior, the seller describes it as decent, which could mean a variety of things. It's possible that there may be some wear and tear on the seats or dashboard, or that certain features may not be functioning properly. However, without more specific information or photos, it's hard to say for sure. The seller does mention that the car has a clean title, which is always a good thing. It means that there are no outstanding liens or legal issues with the vehicle. Now let's talk about the mileage. With 142,000 miles on the odometer, this Monte Carlo has certainly seen some use over the years. However, it's important to keep in mind that classic cars like this one were built to last. And with proper maintenance and care, they can continue to run well for many more miles. One thing to note is that the seller says the car just needs some TLC. This could mean a variety of things, from minor cosmetic issues to more significant mechanical problems. It's important to ask the seller for more specific information about what kind of work the car needs and factor that into your decision-making process. Finally, let's talk about the price. The seller is asking $7,000 or best offer for this Monte Carlo, which is a bit higher than the $5,000 price point mentioned earlier. However, they are open to offers, which suggests that there may be some room for negotiation. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic 1976 Chevrolet Monte Carlo and don't mind putting in some work to get it in top shape, this car could be a great project. With its beautiful custom paint job, powerful engine, and clean title, it has a lot of potential. Just be sure to do your due diligence and ask the seller for more specific information about the car's condition and any necessary repairs before making an offer. And as always, don't hesitate to negotiate the price if you feel it's too high. 10. We've got a real piece of American automotive history up for sale on Craigslist. A 1962 Chevrolet Corvair 900 Monza Club Coupe. This classic car is priced at just $3,800, which seems like a great deal considering all the work that's been put into it. First off, let's talk about the specs. This Corvair is powered by a standard 145 cubic inch air-cooled flat-six engine that puts out 80 horsepower. It's paired with a 3-speed manual transmission with a floor shift, which is sure to provide a fun and engaging driving experience. The seller mentions that the car is in very good shape mechanically, with a lot of new parts installed. The brake system has been completely overhauled with new master cylinder, wheel cylinders, shoes, hardware kits, and hoses. The fuel system has also been updated with a new fuel sending unit, fuel pump, rubber lines, filters, and rebuilt carburetors from Clark's Corvair parts. The exhaust system has been replaced with a new Y-pipe, muffler, tailpipe, hangers, and clamps, and the manifolds have been sealed with graphite packing. A new battery, belt, and tensioner have also been installed. The seller says that the car runs great and is fun to drive, which is always a good sign. The tires are also in decent condition, so you shouldn't need to replace them right away. Now, let's talk about the cosmetic condition of the car. The seller admits that the interior needs some work, with the seats, headliner, and carpet all needing attention. The paint is also described as being in fair condition, with some rust present in the usual places like the bottom of the rear window, bottom of the doors, and floorboards. However, the seller notes that the body is straight, which is a plus. One thing to keep in mind is that the odometer reads 70,879 miles, but the seller isn't sure if it's rolled over or not. This means that the actual mileage could be higher, so it's important to keep that in mind when considering the overall condition of the car. The seller mentions that this Corvair is their wife's toy, but she's lost interest in it. They have much more invested in the car than the asking price of $3,800, so it seems like they're motivated to sell. The price is listed as OBO, or best offer, so there may be some room for negotiation. 11. We've got a real gem on our hands. A 1963 Mercury Comet S22 convertible that's up for sale on Craigslist for $14,800. This classic beauty has been meticulously restored from the ground up and is in excellent condition. First off, let's talk about the rarity of this particular model. According to the seller, only 5,700 of these convertibles were made, but this one has a unique feature: power steering. The seller notes that when power steering was added to these cars, they usually came with a 15-inch steering wheel, but this one still has the original 17-inch wheel, which could make it a one-of-a-kind. Under the hood, you'll find a 4.3-liter 260 V8 engine with a 2-barrel carburetor that's been professionally rebuilt and has very few miles on it since the rebuild. The stock 2-speed Ford-O-Matic transmission has been upgraded to a Ford Mustang 3-speed transmission with a transmission cooler, which should provide smoother and more reliable shifting. The car also has a new high-output 3-row aluminum radiator and fan to keep the engine cool, as well as a 12-volt alternator conversion and electronic ignition conversion for better performance and reliability. The exhaust system has been upgraded to a 2-into-1 setup with a nice-sounding muffler. The seller has also put a lot of work into the car's suspension and braking systems, with all new shocks and a complete new braking system including hard and soft lines. The car also has new tires for a smooth and safe ride. Inside, the car has been completely reupholstered with a new interior and carpet kit, and a new AM/FM radio has been installed in the glove box for security reasons. The original paint has been wet sanded and rubbed out to a beautiful shine, and the trunk has a new liner and spare tire. The seller notes that there are a couple of minor things that still need to be done, such as painting the right front fender and finishing the convertible top frame and installing a new top. However, they also state that to the best of their knowledge, everything else works fine. Overall, this 1963 Mercury Comet S22 convertible seems like a fantastic find for any classic car enthusiast. With its rare power steering feature, professionally rebuilt engine, upgraded transmission and cooling system, and beautifully restored interior and exterior, this car is sure to turn heads wherever it goes. The seller has clearly put a lot of time, money, and effort into restoring this car to its former glory, and it shows. Of course, as with any classic car purchase, it's always a good idea to have a trusted mechanic inspect the vehicle before making a final decision. But if everything checks out, this could be a great opportunity to own a piece of automotive history that's been lovingly restored and upgraded. And at $14,800, it seems like a fair price for a car of this caliber. So if you're in the market for a classic convertible that's sure to stand out from the crowd, this 1963 Mercury Comet S22 is definitely worth a closer look. 12. We're diving into a classic beauty that's up for grabs on Craigslist, a 1964 Chevy 2 Nova. This rare 4-door sedan is a true gem, and it can be yours for just $10,000. Now let's talk about what makes this Nova so special. Under the hood, you'll find the original 283 V8 engine that's been rebuilt to perfection. Paired with a smooth shifting automatic transmission, this powerhouse is ready to hit the road. And when it's time to slow down, you can count on the new power brakes with front disc and rear drum setup to bring you to a safe stop. The seller mentions that this Nova is in excellent condition, and from what we can see, it looks absolutely stunning. The black paint job is sleek and shiny, giving this classic a timeless appeal. With 200,000 miles on the odometer, this car has certainly seen its share of adventures, but it still has plenty of life left in it. One thing to keep in mind is that while the seller states the condition is excellent, it's always a good idea to inspect the car in person and ask for any additional information or documentation to ensure you're getting a fair deal. Overall, if you're in the market for a classic sedan with a powerful V8 engine and a clean title, this 1964 Chevy 2 Nova might just be the perfect fit. It's a rare opportunity to own a piece of automotive history, and at $10,000, it's a steal. Don't miss out on the chance to make this beauty yours. 13. We've got a real treat for you. A 1963 Ford Fairlane 500 sedan that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $3,000. This unrestored original survivor is located in Kennewick, Washington, and it's a rare find indeed. Under the hood, you'll find an inline 6-cylinder engine paired with a 3-speed manual transmission on the column. This classic beauty has clocked in at 126,543 original miles and has been in the same family since it was brand new. That's right, folks. This Fairlane has been cherished and cared for by one family for over half a century. Now let's talk about the condition. The seller mentions that the car is in good condition, but it's important to note that it does need some work. The brakes currently have no pedal pressure, so that's something that will need to be addressed before you can safely hit the road. However, the car does come with some new parts, including a battery and fuel pump, so that's a good starting point. The white exterior of this Fairlane is a classic look that never goes out of style. And with a clean Washington title and keys included, you'll be ready to make this beauty yours in no time. It's worth mentioning that the seller is asking $3,200 or best offer for this Fairlane. While it does need some love and attention, particularly in the brake department, it's still a solid deal for a rare and original survivor like this. In conclusion, if you're looking for a classic car project that's got a ton of potential, this 1963 Ford Fairlane 500 sedan might just be the one for you. It's a piece of automotive history that's ready for a new owner to give it the TLC it deserves. And at this price point, it's an opportunity that's hard to pass up. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch with the seller and make this Fairlane yours today. 14. We've got a real treat for you. A 1982 Oldsmobile Toronado convertible that's up for grabs on Craigslist. This beauty has been converted by the renowned Hess and Eisenhart and is being offered at a price of $15,000. Now let's dive into the details. This Toronado has a mere 30,000 actual miles on the odometer, which is incredibly low for a car of this age. However, it's important to note that the seller mentions the odometer is broken, so the true mileage may be unknown. Nonetheless, the car is said to be in excellent condition, which is a testament to its southern origins and lack of rust. Under the hood, you'll find a 307 V8 engine paired with an automatic transmission, making this Toronado a smooth and economical ride. The seller mentions that the car has been fine-tuned and comes with new tires, so you can be confident that it will drive beautifully down the road. The black exterior of this Toronado is a classic look that never goes out of style, and the convertible top is sure to turn heads wherever you go. And with a clean title included, you can be sure that this car is ready for a new owner to enjoy. Now let's talk about the financing options. The seller is offering the car at $18,000 if financing is needed, but if you're able to pay cash now, you can snag this beauty for just $16,000. And if you're not quite ready to take the car home just yet, the seller is even offering furnished storage until spring. This means you can put some money down and pay for the car over the winter, giving you plenty of time to get your finances in order. In conclusion, if you're looking for a classic convertible that's sure to turn heads and provide you with plenty of fun on the road, this 1982 Oldsmobile Toronado might just be the perfect fit. With its low mileage, excellent condition, and financing options, it's an opportunity that's hard to pass up. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch with the seller and make this Toronado yours today. 15. We've got a real gem for you. A 1985 Oldsmobile Toronado that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $6,500. This beauty is a true survivor and is ready to be your next daily driver. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller states that this Toronado is in excellent shape, and from what we can see, it looks absolutely stunning. The champagne fire mist color is a real head-turner and gives this classic a unique and sophisticated look. And with only 76,000 miles on the odometer, this car has plenty of life left in it. Now let's dive into the features. This Toronado comes loaded with a cold AC system, perfect for those hot summer days. The Bose stereo system is sure to provide you with an incredible audio experience, while the leather interior and sunroof add a touch of luxury to your daily commute. And with a full-gauge package, you'll always have all the information you need right at your fingertips. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 8-cylinder engine that's paired with an automatic transmission, making this Toronado a smooth and effortless ride. And with the rebuilt front steering and suspension, you can be confident that this car is ready to take on whatever the road throws your way. The seller mentions that this Toronado is ready to drive anywhere, and we believe it. With its excellent condition, low mileage, and impressive features, this car is the perfect choice for anyone looking for a reliable and stylish daily driver. In conclusion, if you're in the market for a classic car that's got plenty of life left in it, this 1985 Oldsmobile Toronado might just be the one for you. At just $6,500, it's an absolute steal for a car of this caliber. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch with the seller and make this Toronado yours today. 16. We've got a real treat for you. A 1967 Plymouth Barracuda notchback that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $15,000. This A-body classic is a true muscle car that's sure to turn heads wherever you go. Now, let's dive into the details. Under the hood, you'll find a powerful 340 motor that's ready to roar. While it's not the original numbers-matching engine, it's still a beast that's sure to provide plenty of thrills on the road. Paired with a rebuilt 3-speed transmission and an 834 rear end, this Barracuda is built for performance. The seller mentions that the car is in good condition, and from what we can see, it looks like a solid ride. The blue paint job is a classic look that never goes out of style, and the clean interior is a real plus. And with shorty headers and a set of 14-inch rally wheels included, this Barracuda is ready to be customized to your liking. It's worth noting that the odometer reads just 17,000 miles, which is incredibly low for a car of this age. However, it's important to keep in mind that the seller doesn't specify whether this is the original mileage or if the odometer has been replaced at some point. As with any classic car purchase, it's always a good idea to do your due diligence and get a thorough inspection before making a final decision. One thing that really sets this Barracuda apart is the included bucket of parts. While the seller doesn't specify exactly what's included, it's always nice to have some extra bits and pieces on hand for future repairs or upgrades. In conclusion, if you're looking for a classic muscle car that's got plenty of potential, this 1967 Plymouth Barracuda notchback might just be the one for you. With its powerful engine, clean interior, and included extras, it's a lot of car for the money. And with a clean title included, you can be sure that this Barracuda is ready for a new owner to enjoy. 17. I've got a sick ride to show you today that I found on Craigslist. Check it out. A 1951 Studebaker Champion bullet-nose 2-door sedan, and it can be all yours for just $10,150. This baby is a rare find, and it's been hiding out, waiting for someone to give it the TLC it deserves. Now, I know what you might be thinking. But what about the condition? Well, the seller says it's in good shape, and from the looks of it, they're not lying. The paint job is this dope light creme yellow that gives it a real vintage vibe. Plus, the trunk and frame are solid, which is a major win. Sure, there's a bit of rust on the lower inner trunk lid, but hey, that's just a little character, right? Pop the hood, and you'll find a 6-cylinder inline engine that's mated to a standard transmission. This thing is old school cool, and with only 165 miles on the clock, it's got plenty of life left in it. But here's the real kicker. This Champion is unrestored. That means it's a genuine piece of history that hasn't been messed with. It's been chilling under a carport and car tarp before being moved to an underground garage, so you know it's been looked after. Now, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This ride needs some work. It needs new tires and a full restoration. But that's all part of the fun, right? The fact that it was a daily driver when it was parked and the gas tank still holds fuel is a good sign that it's been maintained. So if you're looking for a rare classic that's got a ton of potential, this 1951 Studebaker Champion might just be your dream come true. It's got the looks, the history, and the price tag to match. And with 2 keys and a clean title included, you can be cruising in style in no time. Don't sleep on this opportunity, folks. Hit up the seller and make this Champion yours before someone else scoops it up. Trust me, you won't regret it. 18. We've got a real blast from the past for you. A 1975 Plymouth Trail Duster that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $6,150. But this isn't just any old Duster. It's the same model that the legendary Al Bundy drove in the hit TV show Married with Children. That's right, folks. You could own a piece of television history with this classic ride. Just imagine cruising down the street in the same car that Al Bundy adored on the show. It's enough to make any fan of the series giddy with excitement. Now let's talk about the car itself. The seller states that this Duster is in good condition, and from what we can see, it looks like a solid ride. The brown exterior and interior are all original, giving this car a true vintage feel. And with just 59,000 miles on the odometer, this Duster has plenty of life left in it. Under the hood, you'll find a 6-cylinder 255 motor that's paired with an automatic transmission, making this car a breeze to drive. And with a clean title included, you can be sure that this Duster is ready for a new owner to enjoy. It's worth noting that while the seller mentions the car is front-wheel drive, FWD, the Duster was actually a rear-wheel drive, RWD vehicle. This is likely just an oversight on the seller's part, but it's always a good idea to clarify any questions or concerns before making a purchase. In conclusion, If you're a fan of Married with Children or just love classic cars, this 1975 Plymouth Trail Duster might just be the perfect ride for you. With its good condition, low mileage, and ties to television history, it's a lot of car for the money. And who knows, maybe some of Al Bundy's luck will rub off on you when you're behind the wheel. So what are you waiting for? Get in touch with the seller and make this Duster yours today. 19. We've got a real gem for you. A 1976 Oldsmobile Delta 88 that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $10,000 or best offer. This classic ride is a true survivor and is ready for a new owner to enjoy. First off, let's talk about the condition. The seller states that this Delta 88 is in good shape, and from what we can see, it looks like a solid car. The silver paint job gives this classic a sleek and stylish look, and the clean interior is a real plus. And with just 25,193 miles on the odometer, this car has plenty of life left in it. Under the hood, you'll find a massive 455 big block engine that's ready to roar. This powerhouse is paired with an automatic transmission, making this Delta 88 a breeze to drive. And while the AC does work, the seller mentions that it needs recharging, which is something to keep in mind if you're looking for a car with ice-cold air conditioning. One thing that really sets this Delta 88 apart is its new ragtop. There's nothing quite like cruising down the street with the top down on a classic ride like this. It's the perfect way to enjoy those warm summer days and nights. Now let's talk about the price. The seller is asking $10,000 or best offer for this Delta 88, which is a fair price for a car of this caliber. However, they also mention that they're open to trades for a truck or GM SUV, like a Yukon, Tahoe, or Silverado. So if you've got a vehicle you're looking to trade, this could be a great opportunity to get behind the wheel of a classic ride. It's worth noting that the seller specifically mentions that they're not interested in any Ford trades. So if you've got a blue oval vehicle you're looking to swap, you might want to look elsewhere. In conclusion, if you're in the market for a classic car with plenty of style and power, this 1976 Oldsmobile Delta 88 might just be the one for you. With its good condition, low mileage, and new ragtop, it's a lot of car for the money. And with the seller open to trades, there's some flexibility in how you can make this ride yours. 20. We've got a real blast from the past for you. A 1966 Plymouth Fury 2 that's up for grabs on Craigslist for just $2,000. This classic ride is a true time capsule and is ready for a new owner to bring it back to its former glory. First off, let's talk about the good stuff. Under the hood, you'll find a massive 383 big block engine that's paired with an automatic transmission. This powerhouse is ready to roar once the fuel system is cleaned up. The seller mentions that the engine turns over by hand, which is a great sign. And with the electrical system powering up with a jump, all the lights and even the radio are working. Pretty impressive for a car that's been off the road since 2001. The interior of this Fury is all original, including the upholstery and carpet. It's a real testament to how well this car has been preserved over the years. And with just 128,000 original miles on the odometer, not 228K as the listing might suggest, this car has plenty of life left in it. Now let's talk about the issues. The seller is upfront about the fact that this Fury has some problems that need to be addressed. There's a dent in the front right corner, rust along the bottom of the right front door, and more rust on the left rear door dogleg. These are all things that will need to be repaired to get this car looking its best. Inside, there's evidence of a mouse making a home in the rear seat, which is definitely not ideal. And unfortunately, the trunk key has been lost, which could be a hassle to replace. But despite these issues, the overall condition of this Fury is impressive for its age. The seller encourages potential buyers to come and inspect the wear items for themselves to see just how well preserved this car really is. It's also worth noting that this Fury may be of particular interest to Dodge Monaco and Mopar collectors. These classic cars have a dedicated following, and finding an original example like this one is getting harder and harder. In conclusion, if you're looking for a classic car project with plenty of potential, this 1966 Plymouth Fury 2 might just be the one for you. With its big block engine, original interior, and overall solid condition, it's a lot of car for the money. And while it does have some issues that need to be addressed, the seller is upfront about them and has provided plenty of photos to help you make an informed decision. So if you're ready to take on a new project and bring this Fury back to its former glory, get in touch with the seller today. Just be sure to include your contact phone number in your email to help weed out any scammers.